What's up, my man?
Ayo, Goombas.
I'll never be ready for it, ever.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Peanut Gallery.
Quattro. It's 4 in Spanish.
And Italian.
Molto bene. The topic for today, rewatchability of movies. What do you got?
I think it's kind of a funny term in general.
I couldn't think anything else to call it.
As viewers, we seem to pick up a handful of movies each, and we watch them over and over again. And there comes a point that if all the surprise is gone, there's like another level of enjoyment that this piece of cinema provides a person.
What the movie does, not just for you, like if you've already seen it, but if you can introduce it to other people. I love the movie Goodfellas. Have you ever seen the movie Goodfellas?
I might not have.
Oh my.
I know. Gangster film is a large hole in my watching collection. I just watched The Untouchables, Scarface, and The Godfather 1.
Mm-hmm. The reason I bring Goodfellas up is because we had all watched it one day in college, like all of my roommates, and it's just a fun movie to experience, not only just with yourself, but with a team of people. And especially because they had never seen it before. Goodfellas is up there with movies that I don't care what I'm doing, like, I'll watch it. Or throw on Goodfellas. You already know what's going to happen. You notice little tidbits that weren't there before. Like for the first time you see a movie, it's mainly for the story. And then probably the second time you see it, it's for the story, along with, oh, look, the character did this and this, or he bought a Coke in that scene, or he did this thing, or he's wearing this t-shirt that I also like.
It's a huge topic, the idea of rewatching a movie just in general. I mean, you can do it for pleasure, but there is also a community of deep divers. If you intentionally rewatch a movie to pick up things you missed, or if you just simply watch the movie and happen to pick up little Easter eggs or gems here that you missed too, it's a testament to the movie, if even at all, if it's fun to watch a second time, and is it fun to watch a 10th time. Very few movies fall into that category of I could put this on and it's kind of part of my life.
Maybe a list of 5 that I'd pick. And I tried to compile some movies that I thought were really at one with this topic. So obviously, maybe Goodfellas, maybe once you finally see it. But I also thought the first Batman Begins.
Obviously, I'm a fan of action films. I like Batman in general. But there's something specifically about the Batman Begins movie with Nolan. What I've noticed in movies that are rewatchable, their entertainment, I think, typically comes from spectacle. It's not really a one-trick pony. Like a lot of murder mystery movies or things that part of the fun of experiencing the movie is to figure out what happened. Sometimes those movies aren't as rewatchable because you can't experience it for the first time a second time. With Batman Begins, it's just fun to watch. Every time he takes the Batmobile out for the first time and don't touch the red button. Like, it's funny.
No.
It's funny every time.
Yeah.
It's funny every time. Where does the fun of the film come from? This is, when you pitch this as a topic, I'm almost overwhelmed by the amount of things I want to say about this. The enjoyment suddenly becomes, I want to share this movie with my friends. I can think of a dozen instances where I like a movie so much that I actively go out and I'm going to make a movie night because people need to see this. It's kind of like a big inside joke. I have this thing and it's really great. It's like being at a party and I want to bring you into the party, and the party never stops.
It's like with a party, it's an experience you can share. And I think not so much of a joke maybe isn't the best way to explain it, but you want to share that experience that you felt with others, which absolutely, that sounds like a good time to me. There's certain characters that I'll just never get sick of seeing, like Indiana Jones, Batman, Atomic Blonde. That character that Charlize Theron plays is really good, and I don't think I'll probably ever get sick of that.
There's kind of two machines working here. There's the character that's written and how actor-actress facet has portrayed this character. So you fall in love with someone's rendition of a character that is typically well written or poorly written, depending on the circumstance. Dr. Alan Grant from Jurassic Park. That movie in general, Jurassic Park, is one of my everyday rainy day movies. And pretty much the whole cast. I mean, Goldblum as well. There's these characters that they feel like your best buddies on the couch with you too. Even going into a movie like Jurassic Park, you're not supposed to be surprised that the dinosaurs start eating people. Spoilers if you haven't seen that film.
Alan.
Watching it unfold and these characters react. I think a movie that lends to rewatchability is reinforced because a community is formed and the community gets on that inside joke and it makes you want to be a part of that community of, I enjoyed that movie.
Have you ever seen the movie Jeremiah Johnson, Robert Redford?
I've only seen clips that you sent me.
Ooh. But There's one scene where it zooms in on Robert Redford's face and he's smiling, and that's just a gif that people just love to use. He's in a bear coat and and they just zoom in on his face, which is also very ironic because it's not a happy-go-lucky movie. It's kind of ironic because the meme is used like a wholesome meme, or like when you see something wholesome on the internet, but the movie is not.
On the flip side, like if you were trying to be a movie that would not let itself be rewatchable, pretty much anything offensive. And I'm not just talking about like politically correct or offensive, be it swearing or profanity, or swearing and profanity being different things, like nudity, or visibly something on the screen that shocks your body. Excess gore, really uncomfortable situations, angst, embarrassment, scenes that make us feel uncomfortable. And as a filmmaker, it can be very intentional, but I do think that's why a lot of the rewatchable movies we see are typically kind of like lemonade films.
I went to a Catholic high school, and every year around Easter in religious class, we had to watch Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ. I've seen that movie 12 times because we had to watch it from 7 through 12 or whatever, but I don't want to see it ever again or even think about it. Not a rewatchable movie.
Not well, any movie you're forced to rewatch might not.
Yeah.
How much of rewatching a movie is your nostalgia factor? I mean, are you watching the movie to watch the movie, or are you watching the movie to put yourself in a time that you were enjoying watching that movie for the first time or second time, be it?
Maybe just in a different headspace.
Can you name me a movie that might not be a great movie, but you enjoy watching it for some reason?
I think it's a great movie. Like, it still holds up to me as an adult, but like a goofy movie. I don't know if it's just because as you grow up, you learn like, oh, life's kind of crap sometimes and you need a little pick-me-up, but just the sequence of them at the school interrupting the principal and actually doing like the power line bit, really think till I'm 50 I'll probably watch that clip on YouTube. It's just like, it brings that nostalgia back. I was power line as a kid for Halloween, and I think it's just a good song. Going on, like another thing that adds to rewatchability is like the score of movies. I remember one time up at camp, Aubrey and Ashley like dropped a soda can in the lake, and they were like, I can't go get it. I'm like, well, we gotta go get it. Don't drop soda cans in the lake or pick up your trash when you're camping. But of course I have to, as like the boy cousin, swim out and get it. And they're like, don't think of the Jaws theme. And I'm like, why would you tell that to me? There's ducks everywhere, and Jaws is definitely gonna get me.
Yeah. I can't not talk about rewatch movies without bringing up Great Outdoors. Because if you're in our clan,
Yep.
and you're at camp, every year you have to watch The Great Outdoors. I'm not a big comedy guy, straight up.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, we watch that movie every year because
We were forced to see it as kids.
it's part of this experience.
Yep.
And we can quote the whole thing.
Anybody home? Like,
And another great soundtrack movie. You have,
Don't go back. Land of a Thousand Dances.
1, 2, 3.
One, two. And people are probably gonna watch this and be like, "What the hell are they doing?" Like, you gotta. So go watch.
Because
the
kids,
Great Outdoors.
they're creepy. I'm really waiting for their heads to spin around. This piece. Let's try to summarize here. Factors that can add to a movie's rewatchability. You have a killer soundtrack.
Yep.
To the point that the soundtrack will bring you back to that movie. Wrapped into that movie of some kind of nostalgia level. You're watching this movie to go back to a place that you want to be in. Sharing movies around. Movies that you can share and interact with people.
I get made fun of. I'm like the old man of our friend group because they're like, "Oh, you like stuff from the '80s." And
80s had good movies.
I'm jealous of the 80s, man. Like, that was, if I had a time machine, I'd go back and chill in the 80s for a week. Atomic Blonde has, to me, like, my dad always played like a bunch of classic 80s rock and music and growing up. So like, Atomic Blonde has that sick fighting scenes and martial arts. The Cold War, the Russians, man, they're at it again.
Cocaine on that. I can't even call it a guilty pleasure movie because it's a friggin' awesome movie. But I mean, Kung Fu Panda, the original, great cast, great story,
You
well
forgot
animated.
your noodle cart.
There's nothing painful about the experience of watching that movie. I think the last piece, what makes a movie really, really enjoyable, movies that really let you experience character growth. And Kung Fu Panda is a crazy good example of...
That's got that in spades.
I mean, you love Po, and he is this totally non-athletic meatball of a panda bear, and he becomes the dragon warrior. It's just just as sweet every time. Every time watching that movie, they stick with you for one reason or other, and you look back and it's just a positive experience all around.
If it's good, it'll bridge all sorts of people together. My dad showed me like a lot of old school movies where like as a kid I'm probably like, oh Dad, I don't want to watch Clint Eastwood or anything, but now that I'm older, I think you appreciate sharing those movies and experiences with your family, especially your parents.
We want to know what movies are on your rewatchable list. What is the movie that you could sit down any day of the week, any hour of that day? Send this video to your movie fans. Please comment, like. If you're not a part of the community already, hit that subscribe button, and we will be here next week.